Oh, it's supposed to be no, it's inside. Inside.
Ready?
Yes.
No.
Okay, well,
Sorry.
we've heard it many times before. Even a classmate of ours has made a joke about this. There's no question about the depressing state that our public education system is in. Just 4 decades ago, we were ranked number 1 in terms of graduation rates, but clearly this is not the case today. We're even mocked in other countries, nicknamed the dropout nation. I decided to look into the matter a little further, and what I found did not so much surprise me as it did shock me. So I want to expose to you our country's dropout crisis and its detrimental effects that it has on the individuals who decide to drop out and the societies they have dropped out in. As I mentioned earlier, the United States was, at one point, 4 years ago, ranked number 1. Currently, for our population of people aged 25 and older who hold degrees, we're ranked 16th behind countries such as South Korea, Russia, New Zealand, Denmark, and Israel as the top 5 there. What does this mean for us? Well, most importantly, it takes away our edge in competing for high-skilled, high-wage jobs globally. We've already shipped off much of our low-wage manufacturing jobs overseas and increased our number of professional work visas, hiring people to work at places like Intel and Google. Basically, we will be losing on all fronts of employment. Here are some quick facts about our dropout situation. 1.2 million new dropouts occur annually. This translates to about 7,000 new dropouts every day. This is like having 2 full high schools just quit their academic career each day. In California alone, there are 400,000 new 9th grade enrolled, but only 269,000 of which will graduate, leaving a dropout rate of 33.8%. That's about 3 out of 10 Californian freshmen that will not complete high school. With statistics like that, we need not look further than a friend of a friend to know someone that has not completed high school. Many dropouts, we know, will also earn over their lifetime less than $260,000 less than their high school counterparts, graduate counterparts, and over $1 million less than their college graduate counterparts. Because of this, all of the dropouts in our country combined will have been estimated to have lost the country over $900 billion in taxable income, and will go on to cost the state $24 billion in public welfare, aid, and incarceration costs. We also know that 75% of our state prison inmates are high school dropouts, and 59% of our federal inmates are high school dropouts. There's no surprise there, as many of these people are delinquents. And of course, as we all know, the unemployment rate has been steadily climbing over the past recent years, but according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it is especially pronounced for those with no degrees. Just in 2009, it was as high as 15% for people who have no degrees. See, Newsweek had done a study overviewing 15 counties in America of the dropout factories because of their high rate of dropouts, but I'm just going to show you the top 5. Coming in at number 5 is the Riverside San Bernardino district. With a total population of 4 million, 12.5% of these people have no degrees. Dan Evans, the spokesperson for the district, reports that they have more commuters that have to drive to other counties for higher paying jobs, and that it's a cyclical trend that feeds upon itself. With higher degree workforces, you're going to attract higher degree employers outside. At number 4, we have Stockton, California, with a population of 670,000, 13% of which have no degrees. They recognize that their dropout rate is significant, and the reason why is because they have less than successful young people, complains the Stockton mayor, Ann Johnston, who is also a former teacher. Okay, she believes that it is a community problem, and that just because schools are the entity that are responsible for the people's education does not mean that they are wholly responsible. At number 3, we have Richmond County, Georgia, at a population of 530,000, 13% of which have no degrees. They've already experienced $7 million in budget cuts in places such as music and athletics, areas that these type of schools are actually strong in. They will be experiencing more later this year. The Mission County, Texas, ranks at number 2. They attribute most of their problems to the growing immigration issue, complaining that most of the people that come in from Mexico usually do not have high school education. And at number 1, we have Bakersfield, California, none other than Bakersfield, known to the underground as the heroin capital of the country. With a population of 800,000, 16% of these people hold no degrees. Alongside with budget cuts, this district has only done nothing besides providing an online toolkit for success, so the outlook for improving graduation rates here is cloudy. For the newly dropped out, life may not prove yet to be so difficult, as they may still be under guardian protection or receiving other forms of aid. But this is not the case for 30s, 40s, and 50-year-olds who are in desperate need of income in today's extremely competitive job market. One such individual, as interviewed by NPR, shares his midlife hardships. Mr. Kenny Buchanan, age 44, has lived in the Coleridge Mountains of Schuylkill, Pennsylvania all his life. He's happy to have his job at an aluminum processing plant after not having work for over a year, but this is not a permanent job. In fact, this has been his 8th job in the past 5 years, and especially with a wife and 3 children, scraping by is not easy. Buchanan dropped out 26 years ago simply because he didn't like school. But back then, he could get a job anywhere, he says. He could work at Burger King, quit that job, and find a new one the next day without having an education. For people like him, it's depressing when running into old school high school buddies, people that he would have graduated with, especially when they ask him about his salary. $7, he says. It hurts, and it's embarrassing. Unfortunately, Buchanan is one of 40 million people who have never graduated high school in America. But of course, there are still opportunities for these types of people to still attain their GED or to take up training courses in trade occupations to become technicians of some sort. But besides trying to play catch-up at a much older age, there are some effective strategies to prevent the dropout attitude in our younger generations. First, I believe that direct, consistent, and positive family interaction with children would predict success in a child. They need this to grow. A proper mentor and authoritative figure will aid in how they see adults. To instill at an early age the incredible value for education. Early enrichment of the child's brain is necessary for them to want to learn, to see failure as a tool rather than an obstacle they cannot overcome. And definitely the early literacy development. To me, the ability to read, write, and communicate effectively is the absolute most basic foundation for any child. This will ultimately affect everything else to follow when dealing with themselves and society. I hope that our nation's dropout crisis has reached its critical mass and would only proceed to get better from here. There are many other factors that I had not covered that led to such problems, and even more proposals for solutions. However, from what I presented, our issues cannot simply be fixed by just throwing more money at it. We need to invest in our student behavior and early intellect in conjunction with proper public funding. Only then, perhaps, will the United States produce a higher quality, world-class citizen and would become the exemplary model for education that it once was. Thank you.
So, Elise, what did you think?
I don't know if it was listening, but I didn't see an attention device or hear one. But he had a good citation and nice projection. And the PowerPoint itself it was like good layout and good organization. But I just thought there was really small font. Even I have good eyes, but it was kind of small from back here. And that's all that I have. It was hard keeping track of time and writing at the same time.
Which is why I pass off that responsibility too.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that you made a pretty good comparison at the beginning about the level that we've fallen to, and you've got some visuals that make that part of the attention device. Also, we've got a very clear statement of what your goal is in the presentation. I thought you had a solid layout of what the structure was going to be. Internally, I thought that there needed to be a little bit better signposting on a couple points. But when I say a little bit better, it's not that there was anything wrong with it. It was clear where you were at any given point. Very good supporting information. You had very good explanations of concepts. I like the fact that you put in a couple of stories to illustrate the things that you're talking about. You even personalized it with a picture of the one